I'd like you all to give just a really huge round of applause for Montel WIlliams.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Now, I wanted to bring the lights up for a second, and thank you so much, so we could really have a conversation. Instead of me preaching at you, I'd really like to talk with you for a second. So there's a lot of people in the back walls over there sitting behind the wall. Come on up and grab some of these seats up here. Come on, come on, come on. Real quick, because I ain't got a lot of time. They're going to start the clock on me. You guys over there, come on over here for a second, because if you do, I'm going to come down here. I'd rather be down here with you, talking to you, rather than talking at you, if we could. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Montel WIlliams. Thank you. Thank you. In the United States, I've just a very, very brief history. So I can say, well, let me start off again by saying first to CannaTech, could we all put our hands together for putting this conference together here in Israel. Two, while you're applauding, keep applauding, because understand that we are in really the Holy Land. We are in where most people believe the genesis of most religions began. But we have to understand that cannabis use was here also. And science behind cannabis now for the last 30 years, 40 years, long before this became the green rush, an opportunity to make money, Israel was on the case, trying to understand everything from genomes to whether or not there was the ability to see if we could crack the cancer cells. 20 years ago, I came here 10 years ago and interviewed Dr. WIlliams in his laboratory on camera. Long before anybody else was thinking about getting into the business. So I should say we should all give it up to Israel real quick for the fact that we're here, and this is where the rest of the work is going to get done, is being done right now as we speak. There's research going on here, just so you know and understand, and this is not in any disparaging way or to contradict what may have been said. Some of the research done here has been paid for by the United States government. For the last 40 years, there has been money spent out of the US government to research cannabis and its efficacy. And then when discoveries were made, what did the US government do? Run out and grab the patent themselves. Right? And turn around and have the audacity to say, it doesn't work. So, let's have a talk. I spent, before I started in television, which I had 17 years on the air, 18 years on the air. Now I've been in the industry for almost 30 years. Before that, I did 22 years in our US military. I was in both the Marine Corps and the Navy. I'm a graduate of the United States Naval Academy. I have a degree in general engineering. I have a minor in international security affairs. Thank you. I have held the highest clearance our US government has the ability to give. I worked for multiple years at the National Security Agency. I have done the job that I was told to do, and for 22 years I was tested every deployment for any drug use, and I did none. Matter of fact, I campaigned around the country against drugs. Launched my show, did multiple seminars on kids who were being abused because of drug-addicted parents. And then I got smacked in the face. I got hit with MS. And when the disease hit me with my first bout, it was the most excruciating and devastating thing I'd ever gone through in my life. I've fallen out of helicopters, I've been next to explosions, I've been hit in the back of the head with rifle butts. Nothing compared to my first episode with MS. My feet went on fire, and they've never gone out. Now, when I was first diagnosed, I went to see, I'm on television, man, come on. I'm like one of the biggest celebrities in the United States. I got one of the longest running TV shows going in history. Bang, I could see any doctor I wanted to see. I saw them all. I funded research at Harvard, UC San Francisco, at the Mayo Clinic, at the Karolinska Clinic. I funded close to $3 million worth of research out of my pocket on MS. Well, no, thank you. But I'm sorry, I did it to places that actually for about a year and a half tried their best to make me one of those statistics of opioid addiction. Because I'm telling you, as a celebrity, there wasn't a doctor I couldn't call to get anything. This is in 2000. Let me explain something to you. I was taking Talwin before anybody. I know y'all know what it is. Talwin, before they even put OxyContin on the marketplace, I was taking its predecessors. There were days that I took 15 Vicodin in a day. And what did it do? Make me drool in a corner. Didn't affect the pain. Finally, I had a doctor who says to me, a very good friend, doctor, I can't give his name out because I don't want people to go after him. He's one of the top doctors in the country with MS, in MS. And he said, I'm done. I'm not writing you any more prescriptions. And I called the 3 guys you're talking to. They're not doing it either. Dude, you gotta stop. You're gonna kill yourself. And truthfully, 17 years later, I am still dealing with the damage I did to my intestines because of opioid addiction. But he said, I heard some people who have MS like you say, this marijuana stuff works. I'm not gonna tell you I said it, but you figure it out. I walked out of his office. The next day, I started figuring it out. This was in 2001. So long before everybody on the planet got aboard CBD, got aboard, let's see if we can do X, Y, Z. I was off of Leaf in 2001, on to Keef and on to extractions myself in 2003. Chasing what really was the only way for me to stay in front of a camera and be able to have a brain and talk and not be drooling because I had, 800 milligrams of opioid in me. So, when I started to really figure this out, 2003, as a celebrity, I'm walking through airports and all of a sudden, everywhere I go, people, because I've made a couple of comments about cannabis, boom, they start looking through my bags. I get stopped and I get busted twice in the US in different airports for having either my pipe or having just under 1/10 of a gram with me. And guess what? In both cases thrown out with prejudice by judges. I started then in 2000, really 2.5, advocating, and out of the 31 states in the District of Columbia, right now in the United States of America that has a cannabis law, I was involved in at least 21 of those states. I'm currently involved in writing or involved in helping to write the legislation in 3 states, and I'm an advocate everywhere I can be in this world to make us all remember one thing. You're gonna hear speaker after speaker after speaker tell the opportunity for business. And it is incredible opportunity. But if you go into this and do not remember that if it were not for patients being dragged out of their homes with IVs because they had 5 plants being grown in their backyard in the United States that started this discussion, and you do this because you are looking forward to that opportunity for the green rush that will turn recreational wherever you live, please, hand it to somebody else. Because truly, this is about that mother, that daughter, that cousin, that uncle, who has any myriad of illnesses that we now know through science and technology coming out of here, that unequivocally that cannabis helps to excite our sympathetic nervous system, our endocannabinoid system, which actually is responsible for our cell homeostasis. So if that is a fact, and we know that now as a fact, then why do we not look at this as the medication that we should be? See, in the United States right now, as much as we might want to think, yeah, there are some good people. I'm not knocking anybody, please. I don't want anybody writing something to say Montel's trying to put down the industry. No, but what I am saying that there are some people who their objective is to make money. And, you know, I hope they do. But there are people who are looking at this and thinking about this every step along the way. What would I do for my mother? What would I do for my child? When you look in the eyes of a child who's had 60 seizures in the last hour and a half, and they eat one little bit of cannabis, and it stops for 3 hours, how can you deny that this should be first and foremost for patients? So, forgive me, because, you know, again, I suffer from MS, but I use cannabis as one of those weapons in my arsenal. One of my most serious symptoms is something that you see right now that I can't stop. It's called emotional lability. Because my nerves get a little bit tingled. My ups and downs don't have control. However, I also use cannabis for that. 4 minutes ago, if I had taken a nice big rip, it might not happen. 2 minutes from now, I'm gonna take a big rip and it won't happen. But I feel so strongly about this that now in the last, having done advocacy for 16 years, this last year I launched my own full spectrum cannabis company, which is a full spectrum cannabinoid company that's really doing research into and actually doing formulations. I'll go back to tell you, this engineering degree, I am the formulator for my company, myself. I am the one who walks into the laboratory. I'm using all pharmaceutical grade or food grade extraction processes, no BHO whatsoever. I use full spectrum hemp terpenes, and for edible products, I'm using select terpenes. And what I would also suggest to you is that, listen to me, as we get on this big kick, trying to see how quickly you can get a product in the market that you think might be able to sell at 7-Eleven in the United States, let's remember that Dr. Mashulman and everyone who has researched this recognizes the fact that it is the entourage effect or it is the orchestra effect that makes this work the best. So why the devil are we out here trying our best to extract everything other than CBD and throw it in a child? But we stop being so ignorant. We know for a fact what the big 8 are, and if those of you who don't know what the big 8 are, then you know you're left out. Do some research. Get it done right now. And as you get it done, there is zero reason why we do not have full spectrum cannabinoid products in the marketplace without THC, ensuring CBG, CBN, CBD, CBC. And you're gonna say, oh, but Montel, I can't get it because it's too hard to grow and it wastes the plant. Really? It's a weed. Waste as much of it as you need to. You can harvest before 8 weeks. I'm not gonna give too many secrets. But the truth of the matter is, that's what I've just now done. I've just now completed. We launched a product line that is called Lenitive Labs. Lenitive, which is one of the probably most used terms in pharmaceuticals at the turn of the century, 1900, meant for assuaging pain, lessening pain. So the company's called Lenitive Labs. We have a complete non-THC product, and in the United States, and very soon out of Jamaica, and hopefully I saw some Canadian people walking around talking about business, so we will do a little business in Canada also very, very soon. And if you come to the United States, any one of the states, we're right now in 4, we just signed a deal for another 2. So we are available for you to try the product, and I have a feeling that even our non-THC product you'll find will be very efficacious to a lot of different illnesses, and we have done this with one thing in mind: a patient for patients. That's why. So you'll find that I'm doing things in titration that no one in the industry is doing. No one. And I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you so much. Remember, patience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Montel.